Hello everyone, my name is Brandon Amazyn Nelson. I'm a spoken word artist out of Kansas City, Missouri, and these are my works. But let's start here. Something that is irritating for me, a poet, is expectation to spit something black. Then what? Do I become more black? Like I could possibly hide this gorgeous hue of saddle brown anointed by God's grace and mercy, proof that even in pain, there is beauty. But I guess y'all don't catch that because I don't say the word melanin. And if I'm honest, I hate the word melanin. Because poets be saying these 7 letters like that's a big word, and I think that's weird. Like Asians, Latins, even those of the Caucasus don't have a bit of it. It's just we of African descent have so much of it, they even call ours humalin. But ain't that just like the ignorant to want to reduce something so special down to something so simple? But I digress. Y'all want the black thing. Like giving you a list of commonly named leaders so I can seem knowledgeable, drape myself in Pan-African and Ankh so I can be respectable. Like sealing it solely at being the next Martin, Malcolm, Rosa, Isabella. Like the first me, the first you can't be better. Like we ain't all soldier in truth. Because greatness is only measured in tens. And tens. And tens. We will desecrate our dead to win poetry slams. And then what? Do you at least send the morning some of your winnings as $5 or $10 price enough for their sacrifice? Because it's necro-cannibalism the way YouTube is eating off of our dead ones' views and you just want your portion too? That I won't. I'm a rebel. I'm a stand strong and power like clenched fists. Make me the offer and I resist the urge to be stereotypical and hypocritical. See, I volunteer to assassinate agendas of perpetuating propagandas by associating press because, yeah, I could talk about what's going down in the hood, but am I really doing my people any good to just stand here and whine with details of how a victim died when you can easily Google them yourself and become more desensitized? I'm not. And if you try to pull my black card, this whole room gets dark because rather than make you adore me for the color of my skin, I'm trying to respect how I'm barely a high school graduate. I'm only growing more impeccable with the quality of my pen because that is why I'm here. And it's the blackest thing I know how to do. See, I never chose to be a poet. Simply handed an opportunity. Make best of an up and down kind of life, so I write. And I make the hardest thing I've ever had to do appear to be the easiest task to you because when I'm on stage, I aim, lock low, cock back, engage a room-filled individual like a one-on-one game. And tonight is showtime. With all the lights extra bright because somebody has to see this. That a poet's life ain't always peaches and cream. And it's nothing from my wildest dream. But yet considering what history has taught us about black folks and chitlins, I think I'm doing pretty good with the scrapes and scraps I'm given. Because that's the twist about these poems. Is that there are no poets from the slums I'm from. Which means my poems gotta reach slums where kids pack guns, hustle for bubble gum and hun buns. So it's not anger nor rage but passion placed in every consonant and vowel that I'm sending in each letter back to my hood and tell them they can still do better, because I ain't above them. See, I still like to go home to Seven Oaks and not kick it like Beckham. I used to buy treats from Leon's Supermarket, where my biggest crush ever taught me a closed mouth don't get fed, so heavy is my hunger. I got no time for slumber. These poems gotta be slumpers, because Lord willing, I'm illing for the children. However, just because I'm willing to talk about what's going on, it doesn't deem me conscious. Nor the fact that I mention God on my pieces make me so religious. You gotta reach folks on a level where they are the same way Malcolm X once stressed, so if my poem makes connect, I'm blessed. So I work hard the way a people's champ could, would, and should, despite feeling beat down and worn, not because I bear heaven's weight, but that of a town that doesn't always love us back, so I admit, I get scared. Terrified like Superman trying to fly with no powers. But in life, there's 3 things I can't stand. I hate liars, hate having regrets, and I hate cowards. So how dare I feel Mike I've been confronted since I was 9, despite not having 3 favorite poets till I was 26. So I spit like my brother's freedom is on the line. Why? Because my brother's freedom is on the line. It is college rule written in ink biracially for this world. It's taught that they're misguided souls taught that there's something wrong being different. I choose to be indifferent because people often judge what they do not understand. But to say this girl and that man not soon to be Batman in the places where the Justice League refuses its responsibility over its abilities when it's just us. For we are to admire the strong and still love the weak. I speak because my best friend was taken before his son was able to speak and was bittersweet. Was having to laugh to keep from crying at his funeral. But in Gotham, we are not privileged to just lay down and die, so on these bat wings I write. And I make the hardest thing I've ever had to do appear to be the easiest task to you through all of my fears and every one of my tears, because it's been a long time coming, but change got no choice but to come. I'm just doing my part till it gets here, and that is my choice. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to ask for forgiveness in approaching you like this, because I'm not used to doing this. But something about you takes my mind and makes my heart flutter like doves wings, and I just need to know, is your soul as beautiful as your eyes? Because when I first laid my oculus upon you, I felt as if I had already knew you, and like unwritten prophecies come true, you make me feel pure. And it makes me melt inside just how you look at me, because this emotion is so beautiful and wondrous yet new, and I love it. Which brings me back to the question, is your soul as beautiful as your eyes? Because as a wise woman once told me, that beauty is only skin deep. But it's the heart and soul that makes us yearn to be we, and I'd like to start where we could have all correctly with a bit of open honesty, like, may I ask, how long have you been on this journey of love, and can I walk with you and share the last of the miles? Or what are those 1,000 things that make you sad, so I can come up with 1,001 things to make you smile? And can I be the provider of joy who's given your heart and swear we would never be apart so long as I kept loneliness away from your door, because I see me in you. Beyond titles, more like lifelines, because you in my existence is vital. And we would have that love that's kind of like the disease that changes how we live and how we eat. So when folks ask what we have, I say, I got her, she got me, we got we, and there's no cure for love that pure. Because not being funny, I don't want one even with Magic Johnson's money. So I would rather suffer through the dirty diapers and the birth weights, anniversaries, and the birthdays with a woman that God brought my rib to make, nurtured by other men's accomplishments and their mistakes to perfect her for our happily ever after. And on the last day of our existence, I hope that we can leave this earth kissing, so that the world remembers our love as a beautiful one, that I could die being her king. And she the reason I just needed to know is her soul as beautiful as our eyes.
My name is Arsema Berhane, and I am a poet from the Kansas City area, and I've been doing poetry here for about 6 years now. And this is my poem, When Car Speakers Are Therapy. Lately, I have been thinking about fear and how you know something is watching your every move in the middle of the night, and you just know something is about to go down when everything goes silent and black. I said, lately, I've been making it a habit to drive through my white Aswaldonian neighborhood with my windows cracked just enough so that everyone can hear the hood shit, the trap shit, the good old black rap shit that's blasting through my speakers, despite the fact that someone could hop out the house, pull out the gun, and shoot me. Justice for Jordan Davis and Elijah Alamein. When you're black, you have this relationship with death. You can see it in every resigned parent's eyes when they tell their kids how to say, yes, sir, no, sir, don't move too fast, know how to make eye contact, but not for too long, and knowing that their child could still die by the end of the night. You've planned out every way that the people around you could die by the end of the night: car accident, homicide, medical manslaughter, vigilante shooting, suicide from the PTSD that no one cares enough to treat you for, or calling the police on the only black people in the neighborhood. I want people to be scared like I am every time I see red and blue lights, or red hats, or old-fashioned flags, or bumper stickers that say Blue Lives Matter, as if they can't take their blue skin off and hang it up in my closet to become the boogeyman that made me scared of the dark. I want fear to fill their hearts, like that mother who saw her white sons playing with me as a child and looked at me like I was nothing, trash. Like that family that was walking, they fear what they don't know. They soft smile, black, and gold painted in my afro. They walked off the sidewalk and kept looking back, mad, like that police officer who saw my father parked in his taxi, minding his business, and arrested him for obstructing police investigation. Sad, like that white woman who called the police on my 6', 200-pound autistic brother, as if everyone involved couldn't see all of the ways that his black life could have bled out on the ground. So yeah, I'll blast my music as loud as I want, and I promise, I'll show you how to be afraid of the dark. For a conversation, I've seen parables, paragraphs, allegories, anything for a chance, a start to a story, if you will, in the search for comfort, a temple, a home that you know like the back of your person sleeping beside you. The scene is peaceful, and nobody knows them, the early morning hours, like you two. You see a brief light, a sliver of an orange peeking out and about over the trees that frame through the glass in your window. You keep your eyes closed and you savor. Feel the grace of Cupid and Venus and Oshun and Krishna and Shiva and Old Man Yulao, any other god responsible for this feeling you get while watching this beautiful human, being, dreaming, sleeping, before they leave your room. You feel the red string bound to you both and leave prayers, offerings in the forms of arrows, river markings, the entire ocean, manifesting beliefs that these are bodies capable of surviving tsunamis, storms, twisty turns on wrong roads, hundreds of miles, the occasional wrong conjunction of words, that these are bodies who can keep their promises and who promise partnership, who promise they can fight their own demons and will continue to wipe their tears and make the other laugh through it. That this being continues to understand your clumsy descriptions of self and emotion and continues to choose you as their X marks the spot in answered prayer, a church called home. You dust off these prayers and they squeeze your hand in response. The second piece is called Safe Travels. And I think these pieces go very well together. There's something comforting about Grinnell, Iowa's lights downtown. It's just me, 2 cars, 2 tables of men eating a late dinner, and the woman locking down the doors of the Strand, while the billboard shines brightly in its renovated 1916 cinematic splendor. And most nights, I hate it here. It smells like pig shit every other day above 80 degrees. My arms typically see the inside of my sleeves more than the sun. I'm rushing from class to practice to meetings, only needing a second to breathe and never getting it. And I'm always craving the food I can't eat unless I'm willing to pay 2 hours of time, half my gas tank, plus the original price. But tonight, and the last 2 nights as well, I'd freeze time forever if I could. I'd wrap myself up in the minutes and slow down every second of the next 48, 36, 24, 12, 7 hours. I'll remember every aspect of your smile and the way your arms curl around your legs when you're thinking, the way my smile fits perfectly in your shoulder, how slowly your eyes close when you finally convince your body to relax. I'll remember your fears and your reasons and the way your hair feels in my fingers when being braided. And I'm used to saying goodbye. But now my eyelids tingle and my hands shake and my heart hurts when my lips say, I'll see you later. A few months should feel like nothing, but I know I almost never got the chance to say everything I needed to. But isn't tonight comforting? Isn't it a wonder I get to be here and wish you peace in person? Isn't this beautiful and hard and worth it? In 48 hours, there's a beach waiting for you. All the burgers and sushi you could eat. But tonight, the Strand's lights are eternal. The pinpricks in the sky are shining. And that's enough. This piece I'm going to perform is called Some Things the World Should Know About Kansas City, Missouri. And I don't perform this piece very often just due to the high emotional labor it requires. But sometimes some things are worth being commemorated into poetry. And this poem commemorates some very sensitive topics close to my heart. We know beauty when we see it. Let me tell you about paintings at the Nelson Art Museum that make you stop and say, God damn. Or my 3 favorite places in the city to watch the sunset. If you want parks or rose gardens, I got you. We got award-winning football and baseball and soccer teams. And hell, what you know about Quick Trip gas stations? What you know about Midtown, Westport, River Market, and Troost Avenue? See, this is where real history happened. We got marches, segregation, protests. We scream fuck 12 on Friday nights. Poetry and art in all forms. But wait until you hear about the music. Because if jazz was born in New Orleans, Kansas City raised it. Because you see, no one talks about it, but when Robert Johnson met and outplayed the devil at the crossroads, they were actually in Kansas City's art district, not Mississippi. They went out for barbecue after. I can tell you about vines and 18 of them. When's the last time you heard someone sing with every note you can imagine or seen someone dance with every bone they got? Can't nobody blues and bebop like this or two-step and create like us. Turn everywhere you go into a party. I said, there's no exit plans when you don't show up to the party. I heard bullets, did a two-step, and stepped on someone's shoes after a fight broke out at the park last week. After a fight. See, I come from Kansas City, where people bring handguns to fist fights, or the children sleeping in their homes, or the people standing around 44th and Paseo at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, June 24, 2020. Homicide number 93 of the year. Rest in peace, Clyde Harris. I went to school with you, but I wish I knew enough to properly memorialize you. 19 years of life deserves more than a 30-second news clip, and it deserves so much more than a mention in a 3-minute poem. But poetry is the only way that death and I have ever been able to have a conversation in such a loud room. I come from Kansas City, Missouri, which is to say, I've learned how to give people their flowers and hope they don't dance their way into a graveyard. Thank you.